So, welcome to this talk. I just created that bird right there, and I was just watching some videos by other creators, and I thought that I wanted to create something artistic myself, so here we go. Here we go again. So the topic for today's episode is paranormal experiences, and I hope you are enjoying the bird on the screen, because I did made it, so I hope you like that. Like that painting, or should we call it an illustration, made with a computer anyway. So I wanted to talk about, in my rally English, about paranormal, and I'm not sure if I had any paranormal experiences. Uh, I'm not sure if I had any paranormal experiences. But I did one time when I did this darkness retreat in the Finnish winter, when I just put the lights off and I stayed in dark for a long time. I had some like biblical visions, and trust me, this is a true story. Like, I had visions of like Abraham, although I don't really even know, but I think it was Abraham, that guy from the Bible, and I had visions of him and like humanity, and so that's not like really explained by science, because I think scientists think that it has to be proven somehow, or it has to make sense, but that experience didn't make any sense. I would say that I lost all my senses during that time. So yeah, welcome to this episode of the Veneto.fm podcast. This is Don Aapo talking here, and lately I launched a new project, aaposol.com, which is like a personal brand project. And I've written there, and you can subscribe if you want to. It's a premium newsletter kind of thing. So that's what I've been up to. I launched that, then I played some video games, and here we are making this podcast now. So what can I say about paranormal experiences? I actually believe that they are true. I do think also that aliens are true also. So I guess I'm weird like that, but I do think that people have paranormal experiences like all the time, and I think that there are some great books written about it. And in terms of, if we think of astrology, I'm like open-minded to astrology. I don't know if it's how what the argument is all about. That I do think at least the moon does affect the elements on Earth. So I guess astrology, it might make sense. So yeah, it might make sense. Astrology and stuff like that. I'm not really an expert on it though. Although I do read some people who are astrologers, and they are quite convinced of it. So I think astrology, it just might make sense, to be honest. And stuff like reincarnation. I do believe in reincarnation. Just like I believe in incarnation. I think it makes total sense. and I've read some spiritual books, and those tend to be quite mind-opening and mind-blowing sometimes. So I don't have like a script for this talk, but I do have like some blog posts that I can read for you. So to sell, you must educate. I wrote this, so let me read it to you. For us to buy something, we have to be educated on the subject. We have to feel understood and like there's a fix to our problem. To sell, you must educate. You must understand deeply the problem that the potential customer has and then communicate that knowledge to them. So start by educating people and give them the solution to their problems. If business is about helping people, education is the solution to the problem. This can be done in a number of ways, and I am still in the midst of this process myself, figuring it out, so bear with me. Bear with me. Heard and understood. You have to make your customer feel heard and understood, and you must empathize with their problems. So you have to know what their problems are like. Rather than selling something outright, good sales is done by educating people and telling them about the help you are able to give them, along with explaining the nature of the problem and that you understand exactly what your customer is going through. Interesting. For example, it might look like telling a story of someone like them if we are using an example. There was a boy called Siddhartha Gautama. He was born in a luxurious life, but he couldn't find meaning inside the palace that he spent his life in. So he left and went on a journey to find happiness in the outside world, but there he was met with difficult circumstances. Along his path he made the decision that he will not stop until he finds the solution to his problems. Yeah, so that's the Buddha. To reach nirvana, he gave up his wealth and started meditating, ultimately finding truth which set him free, and he became the Buddha. The story of Buddha is relatable, and we can contrast it with our own experience, especially during times when we feel empty and hollow inside, despite our spirituality and lifestyle. Okay. We might feel depressed regardless of things going fine might be the case. We might read spiritual books and listen to the best teachers, and still sometimes we might feel inside a lack of meaning. So the solution is living in permanent samadhi. That's where true knowledge comes in. We might think that there must be a way to lead us to nirvana, as happened with the Buddha. So what is the ultimate solution to our seeking? For me, the solution is yoga, which means union with the divine. Maybe it's also the solution for you. I hope you're with me here. The ultimate solution must be self-realization, a direct experience of our own divine nature, and the byproduct of that would be the permanent state of samadhi. There are few things out there as powerful as real yoga is. One tip I have is to make yoga the central point in your life and practice it every day for 30 minutes, perhaps 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. There are many exercises out there to do it, including pranayama, meditation, alternate nostril breathing, asanas, kriya, bhakti, jnana. So learn from multiple sources. There's lots of free resources to get knowledge from. YouTube can be great, and perhaps invest in a coaching program can be your thing. Being one with nature is a great way to get started. Just spending time connecting to nature can be of great benefit, as the yoga exercises I briefly mentioned above. I'm working to collect the best of the best here on apsol.com. If you would like to support me in this project, got to buy more books to research the best of you. There's the option for you to subscribe if you would like to help and study with us. The vision for this project is to bring the best material related to yoga, spirituality, and anything else that people would find helpful. We talk about business sometimes, art and creativity, and I am really stoked that you're reading this right now. Oh, yeah, so may the path bring us fruit and take us to the kingdom of the divine. May all beings be free, may all beings be free, may all beings be free. Om. So yeah, that's a little bit of a blog post that I made about Buddha, and I think that we are all, because the Buddhist teaching sometimes, I mean, the Buddhist doctrine or teaching is aimed to make people like bodhisattvas, and those are like the saints of Buddhism. So it's similar to Christianity where they talk about saints. So in Buddhism they are talking bodhisattvas, and they are like these highly compassionate beings who have self-realized, and they have become very compassionate because of it. So the aim of Buddhism is to become compassionate, I think. So to become compassionate, we must self-realize. So how do we self-realize? I think in Buddhism they teach meditation for this reason. And I think that looking at Buddhist art can also help, like those images of those bodhisattvas and those deities in Tantric Buddhism. So they can be helpful. Yeah. I should have a guest in this podcast, so I didn't have to do all the talking, but right now it's just me, so I have to do all the talking. I listened to this interesting podcast by Love and its Discontents, this channel. I have it on my blog aposol.com if you want to check it out. And it's all about Sufi love. So love is worship of God, which is a theme in Sufi mysticism. And I listened to this podcast and I took some notes on it, so let me read them. So we are servants of God and in loving relationship with God. That means that we love God and God loves us. Rumi, for example, writes a lot about love from the Islamic perspective. And I'm very interested in religions these days, and Philip always delivers the best content in his channel, Let's Talk Religion, YouTube, youtube.com/at Let's Talk Religion. So he talked about Ibn Arabi, who is like the master of masters, the greatest master, and he's one of my favorites, but I haven't read his books yet, so I probably should. So love is an important topic in Sufism, and that is super interesting to me. And quote, when I love him, I am the hearing with which he hears, the eyesight with which he sees, the hand with which he holds, and the foot with which he walks. Prayers. All of reality is based on love. God said this, I was a hidden treasure and I love to be known, so I created the world to be known. So God loves us and we love God, and that is the relationship that we have with God. That is to be annihilated. love, beloved, and lover. The purpose of the human being is to love God and purify the soul, to clean the mirror of the heart. In that moment, the human realizes that he or she is love, and God as the beloved as he is in relationship to us. In that higher state, we realize that God is love. And we should be always moving towards God. So be always moving towards God and returning to Him constantly. Reality is created again every moment, just like we breathe in and out. Whether you know it or not, you're a lover of God. So everything is a lover of God, everything is a reflection of God. None but God is loved in the existing things. The universe is all the lover and the beloved. You are the cloud that's veiling your own sun. I think that's correct. But Ibn Arabi said, or someone else maybe, that you are the cloud that's veiling your own sun. I'm not sure what it means, but I just took it as a note. So then they talk about ecstasy and intoxication and what's the difference between the two. Because they have similar qualities to them also, both related to consciousness of God or God consciousness. So God makes us ecstatic and intoxicated, question mark. And in Arabic there's like many words for love, and in English there's just one word which is love. Everything is made of love. So those are some of the notes I've been taking. Just as a research for this episode of the Veneto.fm podcast. Guess I'm keeping it this time kinda short and sweet.